I so love how real you are, and you're such a good mama. So,
Oh, God.
okay. So everybody who's on, I see that you guys are all muted. I appreciate you guys hopping on. This is the difference between me at home and me 3 miles down the road. I can actually sign in and do these things live, which is crazy, but also awesome. And when Rachel's talking, I'm actually I have a couple of announcements. I'll make them really quick. So stay tuned for that. And a few people are going to pop on here and there. I know that are running a little bit late, so I'm not going to even worry about it. We're going to start right now. Rachel is in Texas, so she's 2 hours ahead of us. And you guys may have seen her do a call for Steph Davies in the Alive and Well group a couple months ago. And when I saw you do that, Rachel, I was like, why the hell have I not asked her already to do something for my team? So I reached out, and the first thing she said was absolutely. Rachel and I were roommates at Steph's leadership retreat in Hood River last February. And right away I noticed how energetic and positive Rachel is. And she is the diamond coach, and her team name is Team Happy and Free, which is stinking awesome. She's been a coach for 2 years. She's got 25 active personally sponsored coaches. She's a mom. She's a Success Club 5 All-Star. She'll be a legend this August. She's married. She's hilarious. She's always smiling. And tonight she's going to talk to us about, she said something to me the other day about her success as a Beachbody coach. And I have to read it to you because it's the best thing I've read that's so simple and real in the last little bit. And so when I asked her to do this call, this is what I asked her, how she would explain her success. And she said, staying focused on positivity creates the outcome over time that makes my business work. Also being real and raw. I talk about how my kids suck. Not a lot of people will do that. They think we're supposed to be doing personal development that should make us happy and patient all the time. And I think that's BS. People can relate to you if you don't show good. People cannot relate to you if you don't show the good, bad, and the ugly. That's what I've been good at, and I swear that's why my business has sustained itself for so long. I'm constantly making Success Club. No one wants to follow someone or work with someone that they perceive as perfect. And it's so easy, and we get caught up in what we have to do or what other people are doing. And I know that a lot of us on this team really love the concept of staying genuine and real to who we are. So I asked Rachel to dive into that for us and share how it's working for her and what she does. So feel free, Rach.
Thanks. I'm like super excited to be here. So like she said, I've been a diamond coach. I've been a coach for 2 years. I've lived in Dallas for almost 2 years and started coaching right before I moved here. Before I was a coach, my husband and I owned a restaurant, a very successful restaurant group in DC. He worked about 80 to 90 hours a week, and I saw him about 2 hours. I was essentially a single mom. I mean, my kids had no clue who he was. And he came home one day and was tired of it. And we sold all of our businesses and kind of packed our bags and left Washington, D.C. and moved to Texas. From that moment on, I decided to just 100% go all in, and with coaching and being a full-time coach. On the other end of that, you know, I grew up a politician's daughter. My dad was in politics most of my life. If you've ever heard of the commercial Beef with What's for Dinner, my dad invented that company. And so I was always in the limelight. My mom and dad owned a radio station when I was a little kid. And then being a restaurant owner's wife, I was always kind of this girl that just kind of stood next to really powerful people. And I was really good at sitting back and being pretty with a smile on my face, and every smart ass comment that was just like, it just sat in my head for like years, like stewing. And social media for me was always this way of just kind of laying my heart out. And when I became a coach, I was really, really nervous about doing it because here I had like these two, successful, really successful, and, in politics, very famous parents. And then here my husband was this third generation restaurant owner. And like people looked at me like, what the hell are you doing? Like you don't need to do all this. And people didn't know the backstory. They didn't know that I had basically been like, I had built up this wall that I was just like hiding around. Like I had 2 kids. I had really successful companies. The white picket fence, the 2 dogs, a cat, all of it. And like, I was still absolutely miserable. And it wasn't until I really started coaching and doing personal development that I realized like, I didn't want to be that person anymore. I had finally found like a group of people that I could just totally 100% be myself with. And like, I really didn't care if they liked me or not. And that was like this like adrenaline and like a high for me. And so I started presenting my business sorry, I sound like a man, don't I? I'm sorry. I have like a little bit of a cold that I'm hoping my wine will cure. But so I started using social media as just like what was going on in my brain, which is not always a good thing. But for me, it has really, really worked out well. And I credit the success and the turnaround for my business, though it might go slower than I would like for it to go. It's steady and it's stable, and I continuously get great checks. My team is continuously moving and building, and I'm consistently doing Success Club, which is what this is about. So that's a little bit of my story, and I'm going to go over a couple of points. I'm a Virgo, so I tend to like be a little organized, but not super organized. But I'll go over some of my things that like I was just thinking about over the last couple of days when I was thinking about doing this call. And the first one is to recognize the season of your life. Come to terms with it, talk about it, and share it. And this can go for anyone. So for me, my season in life right now is that I have a 3-year-old that I will be 100% honest with y'all. He is like 70% like an asshole. And I love him with all my heart. He is so sweet. He is the cutest thing in the world. But we actually had to have a conversation about not calling him a bad name behind his back because we thought that that was making him more of one. It's not. It's just, he just is in general. But like, I think that that's something that, and I'll go and show you guys, I'll share my screen in a minute. I have 5 posts that I'll show you, but, and how I kind of turn this back into social media. But I talk about him a lot because he stays home with me part of the time. And so it's easy to relate that this is my season of life. It is going to be a hard 2 years. I have an older child that's almost 7. I know that 3 and 4 suck. And so I have accepted it. I have embraced it. And I will share it with others because there's people that are sitting there with 2-year-olds and they're like, oh my God, this sucks so bad. And you're like, it doesn't. Just wait. Like, it gets way worse. And to be able to share that and then still be on my own journey to making myself better is huge. So find the season that you're in. If you're single and you're dating, like Deneen, oh my God, last name's completely leaving me right now. But she does an amazing job of going live and talking about like single life and like how that sucks too. And it cracks me up. If you're engaged, talk about like we all know, like planning a wedding, it's supposed, like everybody tells you it's fun. It's not. It's the worst ever. The only thing that's worse than that is having a 3-year-old. So get ready. It's coming too. But I think that no one, like I say this over and over again, and this is something that I'm so, so passionate about, is that no one wants to hear from somebody that is perfect. Like none of us are. And it's so easy to get caught up in this business and be like, oh my gosh, like I have to, like, I can only eat clean. I have to work out every single day. I have to read personal development that is revolving around Beachbody. And that's not really doing anything for your business at all. And the fact that if you can show that you're shoving your face in a bottle of wine or ice cream cone, or that, like, for example, right now, like one of my big rules of thumb is to align my personal development with what's going on in my life. Summer is coming. I know that I have to be like good mom. Like I'm gonna have both of my kids home for majority of the summer. There's no sleepaway camps for 3-year-olds. And so I have started reading 5 love languages of children. Like that's what I need right now, like, is not to read another book about being an entrepreneur. I've read a million. What I need right now to make my overall sanity and well-being better is to read a book to help me recognize things about my kids that I need to know so that I can explain to them that these are the times that mommy needs to work. Document your imperfections. This is my second point. This is super huge. And I'll show you guys some posts. I mean, I do this with the intent of 2 things. Sometimes I post something that I wish I could make half the shit up that happens in my life, but I can't. And so sometimes I post it and I just think it's funny and like nobody laughs. And sometimes I don't think it's funny and people are like, that's crazy. Let me just share a screen with you really quick, because I want to show you guys just a couple that have like done super huge for me. Let me start here, actually. This was our family pictures. This is how everybody wants to end their family pictures. Let me tell you, this was the best day of my life. I waited 3 months to listen to my family not complain about doing these, and this is how they ended. With my 3-year-old in the back seat screaming. I got over 200 likes on it and took it as an opportunity to post a call to action that night and sign 6 coaches the next month. So using that really wonderful moment of my life as an inspiration to post. So this is an example, like I didn't know this was going to be a real and raw moment. Trust me, I wish this would not have happened. But using this to further your business and turn it into a positive, you know, I think that night I put like a picture up of my kids in the bathtub and I had a sports bra on and I was totally feeling it and did a call to action. This was another one that I put up on Instagram recently. And it was just kind of like a lot of people look at me. I'm 5'1". I'm a small girl. I have not always been a small girl, but just kind of like relating to, it had been a long time since I had, oh my God, I'm wearing this exact same outfit right now. It's crazy. I don't do laundry often. But just kind of saving that picture and showing people that like, it took it back to like my postpartum journey and how far that I feel like I've come. Let's see. So this, and I'm also kind of talking about like my third point when I'm going through all of these, and that's kind of turning your imperfections into positives. Because I actually ended up saving this picture here on my phone because so many people would give me a hard time about being small. And I'm like, I have not always been this small. Another one is just kind of not talking about Beachbody at all. This was a bath that I took with my daughter. It got huge. It was a huge call to action that was like this quiet call to action, like this moment that like I just got with her. That was really cool, that showed that I was completely 100% human. But I still, you know, like if you read it, this was not the most relaxing bath I've had in my life. Lots of questions about my body, how I felt when I became a mom, but this girl's wise beyond her years in some ways. So it's kind of taking that aspect of personal development and the ability to spend time and just kind of answer these questions on like, this is real life. Like, you know, it's not made up. This one's super embarrassing, but this got a ton of likes. My husband and I went to an event at our daughter's school. That right there, ladies and gentlemen, is a thong leotard. And I wore it and then did not realize that there were also teachers coming to this event, and might have had too much wine and spoke to the principal in this event. So, I mean, but putting something like that up, you know, you put a picture like that up on a Friday night at 431 likes. Somebody shared it. I don't even know who. That's horrible. I hope it wasn't the principal. And then the next day I was able to like kind of look at that and be like, dude, I got to do a call to action, you know, and seeing what works and what didn't. So apparently since Nashville's 80s, you guys just get like front row seats to what my Nashville outfit is going to be like. And my husband, thank God, is not coming. That's horrible, right? And this one. So if you have haters, congratulations. You've officially made it. This is a super recent picture that went up. My son had sharted in his pants in the dollar store and got it all over me, all over him. And I had to put all the windows down because the car smelled so bad. It was horrible. But you'll see this girl right here goes, you could be at your full potential if you got your brows shaped correctly and tons of Botox. And I was like, oh, okay. She then goes on to explain that my eyebrows look like penises, or no, sperm. I'm sorry, sperm. And thankfully, my dad, my sister-in-law, and like a ton of coaches like came in to defend me. But you know, look, if you've made it far enough this business to have haters, and this is not my first one, so I've been making it for a while, then congratulations. What I like to do is recommend them a great personal development book, let them know that I am praying for them, and you know, like, you're not Nutella. Like, no, not everybody's gonna like you. And that's like my slogan. Everybody could, you know, you could be a peach and there'll be somebody that doesn't like a peach. You've heard the saying, you got to brush it off, move on. And you know what? Now I kind of like dig it because it gives me like a little bit of a high, you know, that you're not going to get from just like regular commenters. And people, like, what's great about this business and this industry is that we totally rally around each other. And so they wrote on there, like, down, they're like, just go drink your Shakeology and go to bed. I'm like, actually, I'm just going to do just that, you know, like, all right, go be miserable. My fourth point, I'm almost done, guys. I'm not going to keep you forever. My fourth point is to take me time every single day. This is also something I'm like super passionate about and preach about, is that, I'm a stay-at-home mom. I work from home. This is my number one job. My kids are with me all the time. I take them to school. I pick them up. I wipe their butts. I cook them dinner. I do everything for them. I deserve an hour or 30 minutes a day to get my me time in. And for me, that is working out. I tend to probably work out 6 to 7 days a week. And it's just because I know I can escape and do it. That's also personal development. To go into the fifth point is that there's going to be 2 points that I'm going to make in number 5, and that is to make this business fit into your crazy life. And I totally get like crazy life. You know, my kids are not like quiet kids. They're like, the only time they're quiet is when I shove like YouTube Kids in their face and I'm like, hold on just 1 second, you know. Like that doesn't happen for us. I'm not blessed with kids. Like I need zippers. But Miracle Morning, and I know a lot of you guys have read it, Miracle Morning has been a huge help for me. I'm not a morning person, and I'm not a late at night person, but would prefer morning over late at night. That's just what's worked for me. And it's gotten to the point where I'm okay to get up at like 5:30 in the morning and do that, what they call the lifesavers. And it really is like an hour of personal development. And I feel so much better after I've done that. My energy's higher. I'm not as snappy to everybody all day just because I've allowed myself that hour. And some days I don't get that hour. You know, some days I do. You know, I'll sleep in until 6 or 6:30. I'm hoping to like figure out a concoction to drug my kids during the summer so that they'll sleep till 8. If anyone knows anything, let me know. But the other contradiction here with that statement is that to not sit on your phone all day. You get one opportunity at life. This business is super important to me. It's what's paying my bills. But I'm not going to throw away the hours and the moments that I get with my kids. And I think that that's really important. I dedicate for sure between 2 and 5 is strictly my kids. We finish homework, we do family things. Usually at that point, I'll throw in some PD on YouTube and cook dinner, or I yell at people and cook dinner. Sometimes I do all 3. And then at night, I have certain nights that I just spend with my husband and we veg out and watch ridiculous movies. And then some nights, you know, I do plug in. But I think that when I plug in, my time is precious. And so it's really important to me that when I'm doing it and I don't look back, and then everything just gets closed for the night. I have a thing that I talked about on the Live and Well call that's like sending cold invites. I pour a glass of wine. I send, 20 cold invites, and I shut my computer and I don't look at it until after 10 o'clock. I no longer look at messages. That's my rule, because I feel like everybody can wait, and it kind of creates a little bit of like good anxiety in people to wait until the next morning to see like what I have to say. And I don't want people to think that I'm not busy. Even if there's a day that I'm not super busy, I still will make them wait a little bit. Everybody loves a good chase, right? All right. You might need to wake up early or stay up late. That's what I'm trying to say, friends. And read The Miracle Morning. Best book I've read in a long time. Super easy read. And I read it in a week, and I'm like a super remedial reader. Like I'm really slow. So the last thing that I wanted to share with you guys, and this is totally on a serious note, like totally switching gears, which is not how I usually like to do things, because I don't like to be an emotional person, but I felt that this was something that had happened recently to me, and that I don't know why. I felt like it just needed to be shared. I have not shared it with very many people. I've shared it with a couple people on my team, and I have shared it with Steph Davies. So when Max 30 first came out, I, like everybody else in the world, I bought it, and I completed 1 month. 1 month of it. It was just like, it was not for me. It did not feed my soul. I didn't get it. Like I thought I wanted to like cuss Shanti out and like flip him off. Like I hated everything he said. I was like, you're ugly and I hate you and you're fat. Like I couldn't deal with him anymore. And so I quit it and I moved on to something else. And then Max 30 came out on sale again, this last month, and we found out a couple of days earlier. And you always wonder why things like that happen, because we never find out things are going to be on sale early, right? So this particular time when I found out it was on sale, another coach on my team was like, that's it. She was in between two programs. She's like, I'm doing max 30. And I was doing 22-minute hardcore. And I'm going to be totally honest with you. I wanted to stab Tony Horton's face. Like, I just couldn't deal with him anymore. Like, hardcore, like, what? Like, why do we have to say it 50 times? And the thing, it just drove me crazy. And so I felt like I was kind of in that same situation. And so I talked to Steph about it, and I was like, I just need to take like a little bit of a break, you know, from Tony Horton, not from Beachbody, from Tony Horton. And I come from a family that we are extremely close, but like I've said, my parents were like on this pedestal, and I'm the oldest child. I have a brother that's 10 years younger than me. He has been arrested, sold drugs, now cleaned himself up, and is an amazing young man. They just had a baby, got married a couple weeks before they had the baby. And my parents are very old school, Church of Christ, religious, Bible thumping Republicans, the exact opposite of me. Except for I do go to church every Sunday, and I do love God, so I just don't want anybody to think I don't, but I do love those. But it took a long time for me to come out of my shell and be like, oh, you know, like, I accept other people, or, you know, I was that child that was just put on this pedestal. I could have gone to Africa on mission trips and taught about Jesus all day long, and it would not have been enough. Like, it wouldn't have been Christian enough, you know, or just nothing I did was ever like just enough. It wasn't that next level that I thought that I deserved to be at. And my brother, who does all of, you know, this stuff, he's just different than us. I'm like, so am I, you know, like, I just wanted to like scream at the rooftop, like, I am different. Like, why can't I be different? Like, why is that not okay for me to be different? And we recently had a little bit of a tiff with my parents, which was really hard, because I'm super close to we are super close, tight-knit family. And it took that, the Miracle Morning and Shanti mixed together one day to have a workout that I have never experienced before, that broke me down to my core, that where I fell on my knees and I was crying, and it was just like this emotional thing. And I don't remember what workout it was, and I don't even really remember what he said, but I remember like looking on Pinterest after it, and I cried for like 10 minutes, like just trying to like collect myself and figure myself out, and looking on Pinterest. And the first thing that popped up was a quote that it said underneath it, like, sponsored for you. And it says, I'm going to make you proud today from you. And I realized, like, at that moment in my life, you know, 2.5 weeks ago, or 3.5 weeks ago, that the only person that is important to make proud, like, that deserves to be proud of me, is me. And that is how I've run my social media. And for a long time, I've been super nervous to put up a bunch of stuff because my parents are on social media, and I refuse to do that anymore. And if it's something that they don't agree with, then I just really don't care, because I know that I can go to bed every night when I look at my social media, because we should all go out. The last thing you do, you know, before you say your prayers, because I love God again, is to look at your social media and say, have I made a difference today? And though I do want that, when I look at my social media, have I made myself proud today? And some days I don't, you know, realistically, some days I don't. I'm not 100% perfect mom. Like I said, dude, like my kids are assholes sometimes. Like I said that, like you shouldn't say that about your kids some days, but I do, you know? And I think that the days when I say that, like that's not me being, I didn't do my best self, but I know that that's what's important is that I work the next day to make myself proud again. That's really all I got. That was just really something that has just been weighing on me so much recently, and just find something that challenges you mentally or physically.
Yeah, Rich, your timing could not be more perfect because lately a lot of people in this team, some people that are on the call have reached out and said, I'm afraid to post and offend someone. I'm afraid to post and have someone judge me. I'm afraid to, and I have a much different perspective. I don't give a shit anymore. Like I got over what other people think or might think, and I don't worry about that anymore. It's a lot like what you're saying. So I'm so glad that you mentioned that, because at the end of the day, it's you and your family, number one, most important. And if you can go to bed with yourself, you've done good enough. The rest is just gravy, so.
Well, right. And you've got to and I mean, my husband and I were having this conversation the other day, because this issue with my parents has been something that's like weighed on me since Steph and Christina Coons came to visit me last October or November. And we actually went out to dinner with Brandy Botts, who lives here in Dallas. And Brandy says something about like having issues with her mom, and like that she had to work through those issues. And Steph and Christina are sitting there looking at me like, you're hearing this, right? Like you're hearing what she's saying. And I did like one of those like ugly cries, like all through dinner. I'm like, oh my God, I just like totally sobbed in front of like Brandy Butts. I'm like, I'll take the check. And but it was like just something that it continuously weighs on me. And I literally I love my parents, and you can love those people. This isn't me telling you to cut them out of your life. This is me telling you to like put up a healthy wall, mm-hmm. or a healthy blind, to be like, this is me. And I don't care. My goal is to not make my husband happy, my parents happy. I would love to make my kids happy, but that probably won't happen until, they're our age, realistically, like for them to honestly be proud of us. But my goal is at the end of the day to like make myself proud.
Yeah.
And that's why Max 30 for me this time, it came at such a great time, because I need to compete with myself. Like that's who I'm competing with.
Yeah, and that shit's hard.
And oh, dude, like it's hard.
Yeah.
I do like modifications, and I'm like, I'm just doing this for the wine. I don't even eat bread anyway. Like I'm just doing this for red wine.
Well, I'm so glad you're here. I'm so glad.
It was so fun. I know I can be like inappropriate and a lot, and people either like me or they don't.
Dude, my team will eat it up, because like, I mean, that's to be honest with you, what kind of opportunity is there that's out there where the more you are who you are and the more you embrace
totally
like that, then you attract those people that need you, and then your business just starts to build on its own just by you being you. And I love that. Everything you brought. Like, I had goosebumps. I wanted to cry. Like, I'm so glad to do this tonight.
Yeah. And if you didn't dig it, just go find my Instagram and comment on my squirmy eyebrows.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'll leave a picture next.
She might be 5 foot, but she's got big shoulders, right? So I don't know.
I need lots of Botox. Look at that.
I know it's like almost 9 o'clock your time. So if anybody has questions, I'm sure, I don't know if you are like super excited to jet off with your wine and your husband.
No.
But if anybody has questions, I did have
no, not at all.
So if you guys have a question, think about it, like unmute yourself or something. But I had 2 questions that I wanted to ask you, and I knew beforehand, and I was like, I'm gonna send her my questions and give her time to think about it. But I thought this would be more fun. I want to know how. So I got asked a difficult question today that I don't know how to answer. I was gonna do a little bit of research and try and find maybe a video on it, but we want to be real. We want to be authentic. We want our posts to represent who we are, right? But how do we go across without coming out as, like, for example, if you share your results, that like egotistical approach of like, I did good. Like, there's people out there that worry about coming across and sending the wrong message. And for me, I don't think about that because I don't give a shit if someone thinks I'm being egotistical. I think we should celebrate when we succeed. But like, do you have like sample ideas on how you like keep it simple, keep it positive, or maybe you could put your input on that, because maybe you'll be able to help emphasize like.
So I went on the cruise, worked my ass off to like feel good about being with a million other people on a cruise, and came, like, drank my face off, ate the buffet, and everybody that was like serving on the buffet, I ate them too, and gained like all the weight plus back. And I had the hardest time, and even still, like, I'm struggling with it, like just figuring out like how to get that back. And that might have been hammer and chisel body, realistically. And I need to take a break and do something different, and experience something different. But what I did was I posted a picture of myself right before I went on the cruise on a bikini. And I just looked at it earlier tonight, but it was like, hey, see this girl? I miss her, like, a lot. Like, I wish she was right here looking back at me, but she's not, like, and I said, like, I've struggled getting myself back to that. And you would think it's this close to summer, like, I wouldn't, but like, I mean, actually in Texas, it was colder today than it was on Christmas. So yeah, I wore a sweater today. That was, and like, I had to wear a pair of boots, and it was like, I mean, mind you, it was 67 degrees, but that's really cold for us, by the way. So you would think, but we've been in swimsuit mode since February. I mean, here. So there's not really that, I don't really have that season. And I have to remember that when I'm talking to like the greater of my population on Facebook, because 99.9% of them are not in Dallas. I make it funny. I make it relatable. I talk about how a lot of times when I do my videos, you'll see Jay running around in them, and it's because I can't shake him. Or you'll see, I talk a lot of mommy stuff because that's like consumes me currently.
Yeah.
But I think that if you're not a mom, relating it back to a time in your life where, you weren't where you are now.
Yes.
And making it positive. And I think that people that are saying stuff behind your back, or they don't agree with you, then they are not worth your time anyway, and you don't want them in your life. And they will eventually come around, I promise you, but it is not their time, and you don't deserve to deal with that part of them.
Yeah. I love that.
And God puts people in our lives at a certain time, and I truly, truly believe that. And don't waste, or always follow up, because that is where the fortune is in the follow up. But don't waste your time on someone, like, you'll have that person that just doesn't quite commit ever. And you really, for some reason, that person is in your inbox or they're on your newsfeed all the time. And for some reason, you just feel this need that pulls at your soul for them to commit. And you really have to step back. And mine was the mean girl in high school, man. They were assholes to me in high school. And she committed finally, and then didn't really commit, and then never responded. And I was like, I had to look back at our whole entire relationship and say, you never committed to me. The same stuff that you did and the same friend that you were in high school, you are that person now. And you know what makes me sad is I'm not that same girl that I was when I was 16, 17, 18 years old. But those people are. And you just have to be like, you know what? In Texas, we say bless your heart. And that's pretty much the same as being like, you're a you know what, and move on.
Yeah.
So I say when you're doing those posts, don't worry about, giving yourself the big pat on the back. Just do it. If whoever doesn't fall in line, F them, for real. Like, they'll eventually come around because they'll feel so miserable about themselves.
Well, that's kind of what I said, was along the same lines as, it's their journey. So if they're negative, they're negative. But eventually, hopefully, it will give them an opportunity to recognize, one more opportunity to look back on and say, I'm always negative. It's time that I change. And so you kind of create this opportunity for someone else to grow. It's discouraging and it's frustrating and it might make you sweat, but it's your journey is worth sharing, because the people who need to hear it, when you hear from someone how you help them change their life by sharing something that you might have come across as conceited or egotistical, it's worth it. Like, you kind of brush that off and it goes away. You stop worrying about it so much. So I always say that if you're uncomfortable, just keep doing it, because you'll find out, you'll prove to yourself that it's not a big deal. So yeah, but you're awesome. I don't know if anybody has any questions. This whole thing's been recorded, so Kim will post it probably tomorrow. I know she's not feeling very well. And so I'll send it to you, Rachel. Nobody else unmuted themselves or anything. So before we completely sign off, Rachel, you feel free. I just have a team announcement. I'll message you or something later.
Awesome. Guys, if anyone has any questions or wants to chat or anything, feel free to message me, friend me. Yeah. What else? Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much, baby. You're awesome.
Bye.
Real quick, guys, 2 announcements. Emily Jones is going to do a Zoom for us on Tuesday the 24th on what dual purpose challenge groups look like. It's going to be really awesome. Well, I'll post that tonight, and we'll have a link for that coming up. Just put it on your calendars. I know that I'm telling you guys early, but I really want to get as many people in on this as we can, because I personally need to sign up for that. And I am going to do a vital behaviors friendly competition challenge group starting on Monday. I'm going to give you guys the weekend to try and get some alone time, me time, whatever, so that come Monday you feel like supercharged. Because if I'm doing this, I'm not going to half-ass it. And so if I don't half-ass it, that means that you guys are going to be competing against me, and I'm going to have $100 gift. And if I reward myself, I'm okay with that. But if you want it, that means you're going to have to step up and do the things to earn the points and participate. And I will gladly pass it over to you. But I know that there's some competitive people in this team, and I think that's awesome, because I need a push, and we're only halfway through May, so there's plenty of time to rock this month. So look for those 2 announcements, and again, this recording will post tomorrow when Kim gets a chance. And I'm so glad that you guys all came and listened to her. I think she's hilarious. Hey, Alicia. And I think she shared a lot of really serious things, even though she's really funny. Her approach is always like the lighthearted, which I love. I think the moral of the story is that you live a life that is valuable beyond your own measure, and you might not see it because you're right in the middle of it, but you and you, the way you live your life, and the value that you possess that no one can take away from you is so important to get out there and share, because any of those challenges or struggles or frustrations that you have in your life or have gone through, there's someone else out there who needs to know they're not alone. And those people will reach out to you and connect with you, and they're going to be the tribe that help you change this world, because they're going to join your team when they realize they're not alone. And the more you share about how real your life is and what you're going through, whether it's, you know, child related, wedding related, school related shit, like I have all that stuff going on myself. But if you're just real and raw about it, you're going to start building those relationships that you need to help people make changes in their life. And so don't forget how valuable you are. And that means you. That does not mean trying to be like anybody else. So embrace that, embrace your life, and share it. Every day this team, I learned I had two team calls two coach calls today, and I was just like had goosebumps and brainstorming and just super inspired. And that's because you guys are opening up to me and you inspire me. And I'm not the only person who needs to hear it. I'm so glad that she did that. So I hope you guys got something out of it. And thanks for being on. And I don't know how this works, but I'm going to hit leave meeting. So if anybody has any questions, holla. Right now, go. Julia, you're unmuted.
Oh, sorry. I thought I left the meeting. No, since I'm unmuted, that girl was hilarious. I think she was awesome, and I just liked her a lot, and I'm glad I came in and listened, and I don't have much more to say than that.
Well, I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're on. Rachel's hilarious. So go friend request her, because she's like that all the day. And you'll be laughing every time her post pops up in your newsfeed. So
yes, for sure. I'm going to do that.
Emily, did you raise your hand? Okay. Okay, guys, I'm going to close it up. Post your comments below when Kim gets this if you have any. But have a good night, guys.